In this episode, we dive headfirst into the fifth and final phase of the Hunter exam, and man, I tell you, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Hunter x Hunter, episode 19, can't win, but can't lose. Man, I just love it so much. I can't wait for the next episode. Well, hello, my brothers and sisters and hunters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, and I'm here to bring you another review on an awesome and tantalizing and just wondrous tale of Hunter x Hunter 2011. Our last episode saw us, of course, the Phase 4 being complete, and really the chairman, Netero, interviewing everybody prior to coming up with something that even the examiners think is just like crazy. They were all at the end of the episode. Like, he showed this whatever it is that he's got going for the fifth and final phase, and everybody was like, and like collectively held their breath. So that's where the episode, of course, left off. And really, this one goes and it picks up right at that point, where everybody's like, "Are you kidding? Really?" He's like, "Nope, I'm serious. Serious as cancer." So he winds up going and pulling this thing out, and we knew it had something to do with brackets, right? And because it's March, I was thinking of March Madness, NCAA basketball, and obviously the different brackets for things. But this is cool because he goes and he brings everybody. First of all, they bring everybody to this magnificent hotel, and for the duration of the fifth phase and these one-on-one battles, which we find out very close to the beginning of the episode are going to take place. The hotel is kind of like, it's theirs, it's yours, all the accommodations, blah, blah, blah. But then he goes and he pulls out this, the board, and he wheels out the chalkboard or whatever it is, and he shows the brackets, right? And it's a cool system that he's got set up, and it's a system in which where if you win, you pass the Hunter exam, and if you lose, you move on to go and fight the next person, right, up in the brackets. And so there's only going to be, there's 9 prospective hunters, and I don't remember all their names, but I do remember, of course, Gon, Killua, Kurapika, Leorio. I remember Hanzo the ninja. I remember Hisoka the clown. I do remember, I don't know what the guy's name is, but the old dude with the big eyebrows and the kind of ponytail and stuff like that with the gray hair. I remember Pinhead, and then there's that one dude that looks kind of like a weird little munchkin or something like that. So, but I forgot their last couple of names. So, and Pinhead's is like a really long one too. It's like Guragata or something. Anyways, out of these 9 that are left, only 1 is going to not pass. 8 are going to become hunters. And the way that the system works is the brackets aren't all evenly matched. Someone, like for instance, Gon and Hanzo, the ninja, are the first 2 to fight. And the whole way it works out is that the people that they saw more promise in, and they tested them on these 3 different areas. And it was really cool. They broke it down, too, on their physical endurance, their mental endurance. Anyway, they tested them and basically made judgments based on these 3 areas and who has the most potential, of course. And the ones that get more chances, right? Because you could, like Gon, for instance, he can lose up to 4 times. He gets 5 chances to actually go and win and move on. Whereas other ones, only have 2 or 3 chances, right? So it's really cool because it's like a weighted bracket. It's not really even in any way, shape, or form. And this pisses off Killua, right? Because Killua knows he's a bad little motherfucker, right? But he sees that that Gon is got more chances than him, and he's like, Gon has more potential than me, Because he's thinking about it, and he's like, I passed all the phases with flying colors, like it was nothing, So it was really neat to see because this brooding happened throughout the entire episode about Killua, and he just seemed like he was really pissed off at Gon, for kind of stealing his thunder. But anyway, so the way the brackets are set up is very, very neat, and I really enjoy the way that this 5th phase is set up. But here are the discrepancy. You have to they're pitting people against each other. It's genius because the last 9, these people are they have indomitable will and just strength and all that other stuff, right? Mentally, they're strong. The only way you can move on is if the other person surrenders. If you knock them out, doesn't count. If you kill them, you're automatically disqualified, and then everybody else passes and things are over. So you can't be too brutal. You can use weapons, but you can't hurt somebody, even if it's like a weighted or a skewed fight in the sense that you're much stronger than your opponent. You can beat him and torture him, but you have to get him to say, or him or her, or whatever, to say, I surrender, as opposed to you can't just knock him unconscious and be like, I won. That shit doesn't fly. You can knock him unconscious, but you gotta wake him back up. If they don't surrender, you don't win. And if you kill him, you don't win either. You get disqualified. So it's really a cool setup because at this point in the contest, who the hell do you think is going to surrender, you know? So the first match, though, and what the majority of this episode is really the first match, and it's showing Gon. And Gon, man, especially after the last episode, boy, I tell you, I wish at 35 I had some of the balls and some of just the tenacity and just some of the sheer force of will that this kid has at 12, you know. And I get it, it's a fictional story and everything else, but boy, Gon has really impressed me, right? He comes in for the first fight against Hanzo, and Hanzo is the bald ninja, dude, and he's a bad man, you know. He's quick, we know he's fast, we know he's strong. He's passed these first four phases, excuse me, a lot of F's in there. He passed them all. Now I'm saying F's with everything. He passed them with flying colors. He passed them with flying colors. And nonetheless, though, him and Gon, you know, go get into their fight or whatever. And Gon is thinking, you know, I'm going to use my speed to gain some distance from him, right? And he goes, starts cruising, you know. And the animation's so beautifully done. He just starts cruising, you know. And then all of a sudden, whoosh, there's Hanzo right by him. And he's like, oh, you thought you were going to use your speed. You have my respect. And he's like, boom! And I mean, he just nails him, right? Knocks the wind out of him, puts Gon down, and then the next like 5 or 10 minutes of the episode is, I mean, it's just a ritualistic beating, okay? Gon has no chance. Every time he goes to get up, Hanzo jacks him up again, nails him, kicks him, punches him, uppercuts him, whatever. I mean, there's one point where Leorio is like, dude, that's it, I'm coming in, right? And they go and they stop him, and I'm like, they're like, no, this ain't the WWF, man. There's no tag teaming in, okay? If you come in to interfere or to attack or whatever, Gon will be disqualified, you know. So Leorio has to go and sit the fuck back. But there's a point where, I mean, Hanzo's just beating on him, and Gon will not surrender. He won't give up. And Hanzo's like, listen, after the first hit, he goes and he says, just surrender now, okay? I'm just telling you that just numbers-wise and everything else, size-wise, I'm stronger, I'm bigger, I'm going to win. Save yourself, just surrender now, and then you'll be in good shape for the next battle. Otherwise, if you take a beating from me for God knows how long, who knows what kind of shape you'll be in. And you understand that. Maybe he's going to have broken ribs, a punctured lung. You never know. I mean, this guy's he's a fucking ninja. He's going to beat the hell out of you, right? So that's what winds up happening. He just starts, you know, he starts beating on him. But I mean, he gives him an opportunity after every, you know, hit or two to surrender. But Gon is a stubborn little bastard. But I really, man, I got it. For a 12-year-old kid, boy, man, I tell you, there's points where I was watching this, and I know it's fictional, I know it's an anime, I know it's not real, and I was wincing, and I was like, God, I think I would have just gave up at that point, cut my losses and run, you know, because he's right, you still got 4 more chances, but Gon, he's not going to back off, he's not going to give in, and I like that, I appreciate that in Zoro over in One Piece, I love that, always moving forward, you know, mentality. But there's a point where Leorio is like, and this is after Hanzo goes and he says, listen, he goes, I'm going to break your arm. You know, and you know, if you don't surrender, and Gon's, this is serious now, and Gon's like, no, he won't surrender, right? And I mean, he fucking, and that's the point where I winced, and I was like, I'd be done after that, man. You break my arm, and you're that much better than me, and I still haven't been able to hit you, fuck. So Gon's laying there in a heap, man, you know, broken arm, he's hurting. And what he does is Hanzo goes and stands on one hand, does a one handstand, and then starts going and balancing and getting up onto 4 fingers, then 3 fingers, 2, and eventually 1. And he's doing this handstand. He's explaining about how he's from the Shinobi clan, and he's been training since he was, you know, basically at birth, right, for 18 years now. We presume he's 18 or 19 then. And, you know, then they kind of show a little quick flashback thing with just, you know, like silhouettes and everything. But it was basically, he was pretty much like tortured and beaten, you know, and he had to do all these different things to train, you know, through his lifetime, whatever, to be a hunter and to take this type of stuff. So mentally and physically, he's just like, at this point, we're just, you know, I outmatch you, okay? That's just what it is. It is what it is. And Gon still won't give in, you know. And then there's a point where, like I said, Leorio is over there, and he's just like, that's it. He goes, one more. He goes, he touches him one more time, and you're not going to be able to stop me. And Kurapika's like, Kurapika, whatever. You know, he's like, yeah, don't worry. And his eyes turn, they do that scarlet thing where they light up. And I just love the animation here, light up, and just say, yeah, you don't got to worry about me, you know. But anyway, this goes on for a while, and then it winds up happening. So while he's talking his shit and everything like that, and he's balancing on one finger, Hanzo, Gon goes, and with his broken arm, Gon goes, boom, and kicks him in the face, right? Just sweep kicks him right in the face, and knocks his ass back, and Gon's like, no, I won't give up, you know? So Hanzo goes, and he gets up, and he says, oh, I let you hit me. He goes, but here's the deal. And then he goes, and he pulls out of, he's got his, like, his wraps on, you know? And he goes, and he pulls a sword out of there that's, like, attached into his wraps. He's like, I'm gonna cut off your fucking legs, bro, okay? I'm gonna cut your legs off, you know? Gon won't give up. Gon starts negotiating with him, right? And Gon's like, listen, there's got to be another way for us to get out of this because I'm not going to surrender. And if you cut my legs off, I'm going to bleed out and then you're going to be disqualified, right? So he's going on, and I mean, it's just amazing how he goes and he takes him on this mental, emotional roller coaster. And it's something that I learned from the many years that I had to deal with people face. You learn how to, it's not really manipulating, but you learn how to go and kind of turn someone's perspective and the way they see something around to the way you want them to think because you're trying to explain something to them because you're trying, you know, whatever the case may be. And nonetheless, though, just in some jobs that I've had, that and the one that I'm in currently, you know, you deal with people that it's a lot more along the lines of like a sales type of thing, you know. So you're talking with somebody and you're trying to convince them that what you're telling them is the right thing. But Gon, I mean, just takes it to the next level. Shit, man. I mean, he goes and he's like, and this is not going to happen. And, you know, and then if you do this, you're going to be disqualified. And then if you don't. And then Hanzo's like, all right, well, if I cut off your legs and you wind up still not giving up, you're going to die, okay? And I'm just going to be disqualified and I'll be able to come back next year and try. But you're never going to become a hunter because you're dead, right? So Gon goes in a very touching moment at the end. He says, I want to find my father. He says, what? Or my dad, he says. You know, he says, your dad? And he goes, yeah. He goes, he's a hunter. And I feel like if I take a step back now, that I'll never be able to find him, you know. And it was a really cool, heartfelt moment, you know. So anyway, so Hanzo goes and he's just like, you know what? I give up. I forfeit. And they're about to go and shut everything down, and Gon's like, no, I won't accept that. I'm like, what? Just let him forfeit. You know, you just talked your way out of it, but you got your ass beat, your arm broken, you just won, you know. But Gon's like, no, there's got to be another way to solve this. And Hanzo goes and he's like, okay, so you're telling me that you want me to help you figure out a way that you can win so you still feel better about what you did and everything? Gon's like, uh-huh. And Hanzo's just like, boom, just uppercuts him across the room, knocks him clear unconscious. The Gon's knocked out, man. He's seeing stars, you know. Hanzo turns around, he's like, that's it. I forfeit, we're done, we'll move on. And then he explains, he goes, make sure you tell this stubborn little kid when he wakes up that, because he's going to not want to accept the win and everything else, that if he doesn't accept the win, that it'll wind up being a disqualification for him if he doesn't accept it and move on, and then everybody else's fights will be rendered meaningless, you know? So, man, I like the kid. I like how he is and how mature he is and how much... Man, there's not enough good things I can say about him, and just the animation is beautiful, and I'm really looking forward to this fifth and final phase, and just the one-on-one fights, man. It's going to be cool, because there is some monsters in here, boy, I tell you. So that's how the episode ends up, and certainly we're looking forward to Gon, hopefully, you know, having a speedy recovery, but he is technically and officially, I guess, a hunter now. So, nonetheless, though, I want to know what your thoughts are on the episode, of course, and I guess what my episode question is what are your thoughts on Gon and his just unrelenting, just unwillingness to go and to cave? Do you respect it, or do you think that at some point he should have just been logical and just said, you know what, you know, I'm going to give in, you know, we'll live to fight another day type of mentality? There's no wrong answer, but I want to know what your opinion is, so leave that in the answer, leave that answer to the question in the comments down below. Sorry, I'm having a seizure here. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you think that I deserve it. Yeah, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, Hunter Nation. Do you think Walter White would have surrendered? Well, anyway, it doesn't really matter. Follow me over on the Facebook, the Twitter, and even my other channel, huh?